Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, hitting you with another brand spanking new review. This is the first oh my god, a brand spanking new review, brand spanking new video for 2023. Welcome to 2023. I hope it's not as much of a hellhole as some of us are thinking it's going to be. Just kidding. I'm really excited this year for Tokusatsu, for Power Rangers, for lots of different things. Just general awesomeness. I'm excited to see what the new year brings, and I'm very positive. And going off that positivity, thought we'd do a nice little video today talking about my favorite releases of toy releases and collectible releases from last year. It's crazy to think that some of these things that I have here were all last year. I've had them for so long. I don't know. I felt like it had been longer than that, and they didn't release last year, but they did. So we're going to start off with, I got a few different things. I got some figures, got some DX items, things like that, some custom items, stuff like that. But yeah, so we're just going to start off hot with the Legend Makeover Forza driver. I did a review on that, Toku review on that one. It's a pretty decent quality driver if you are looking to just have it displayed. It is kind of tiny. It's kind of small. That's one thing that's kind of a meh point on it. But it's basically DX Lite. DX is already the cheaper version of collectibles in general for rider stuff, as most of us know, in Sentai. Unless you're going complete selection modification or memorial edition, which are way more expensive, right? Well, this is I kind of explain this as DX Lite. So if you always wanted a Forza driver, but you don't want to fork out the cash for one how it is now, which you're lucky if you find one for less than 60 bucks. A DX one, then this is actually a pretty good option. It's got some decent paint on it. The lights, there is no lights on it, it's just sounds. This does not light up at all, it's just a sticker for the body of Forza there. The switches do things, but you only need to press the first one to actually activate it. See? So yeah, it's got a little activation sound there, and then once you do the henshin, after doing it once, if you press the handle again, it'll do the Rocketo Doriel Red Brake. And then that's pretty much it. But if you were, excuse me, oh boy, that's some Wendy's. If you were looking to have a version of the Forza driver that wasn't going to break the bank and was pretty easy to get, you can get this at Toku Collectibles, Amazon, lots of different places you can find this. There's this, I believe they did for the Typhoon, those are the first two, and I want to say that the one for Ryuki, and I believe the Fies driver also is getting one similar to that. We'll still have the phone that connects in, but there's no lights, it's just the sounds. But yeah, so yeah, it's a pretty good release. I like that these still kind of, move a little bit here. You can move these around as little fidget things pretty much, but they don't activate anything in the driver. They're molded in, the Astro switches are molded in, so that's the difference. Again, it's DX Lite, so it's not going to have the same bells and whistles as if you were, so to speak, as like the DX release. So still a pretty good release. I'm excited to get my DX one, and I'll probably end up giving this to my kids to play with. But yeah, so that's that one. I'm trying to go sort of chronologically. We'll see how well I do with that. After that was the DX Don. Oh, here, I'll let him say it himself. Hold on a second. Yeah, baby. I really like this. A lot of people thought it was stupid looking and whatever, but I really like the colors on it. I love the goggle visor thing here and the big spinning gear here along with their, avatar gear. I love the functionality that it has not only on its own, but then when you start pairing it with like the Zanglass sword and the Ninja Dark sword, there's a lot of different sounds that come out of it and those weapons together. That's really, really cool. I was fine with the Sentai gear essentially again happening with the Avataro gears. And I have a lot of them. I actually have a collection of them in my closet. I need to find a way to display them out here somewhere. And I like what they look like. I think they're really cool. I think they're designed really well. They're a nice little trinket to hold in your hand, little physical thing. I didn't go too hard on collecting Avatar gears and Sentai gears. There are some seasons I wanted to, have one for, but for the most part, I didn't go too crazy on it. Plus, pretty soon the Memorial Geartlinger comes out, so then that'll have the die-cast ones of those gears. So I'll probably end up being the DX Geartlinger back there. I might take off the wall, put something else there, and put that with, I might give that also to my kids to play with. But, yeah. DX Town Blush, though, really, really good. I like the size of it. It's got some pretty good heft to it. The sounds are good. I like the little, being able to spin this. Is really cool. It's a pretty decent size. I was expecting it to be smaller than this for a DX release. That's usually the curse of DX releases. They're cool. They do lots of cool noises, sounds, lights, blah, 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 but they usually are like, 30% smaller or more than what we get in the show. which is duh. It's gonna have. It's meant for children. You have to wait till the Memorial versions that are usually bigger. Case in point, my Memorial Real Soul up there, which didn't release this year. I may have gotten it at the end of 2021, but it didn't release this year. It released a couple years ago. But anyway, so yeah, this is a really good release. I really like it. I like the design of it. I'm gonna put it closer. You kind of see the colors and stuff. I love the art style of the Avatar gears. This like comic booky type style is cool. Clearly, I'm wearing a Don Avatar jacket. Of course, I like the Don Blaster. But yeah, this is a really good release. I really liked it, and it was awesome. It was a good release, and I really like how hefty it feels and the functionality with it. Don't have Omokoshi Phoenix yet, but I considered it maybe. I think also released this year was the DX. Let me see if I can. The Legend Makeover Arkle as well, which is pretty good. I mean, I never had a DX Arkle because when the show clearly came out, I wasn't even aware of anything of that. I mean, I was in 3rd grade at the time, so I never had a DX Arkle to know functionality-wise how much different or better it may or may not be. One second, I'm going at my computer a little bit. There we go. That's fine, I guess. Can we just scoot that way a little bit? Is a little baby about it? Whatever. Anyway, so yeah. So I never had the Arkle. The original Arkle, so I can't really compare it that way. But what I can compare it to is other similar DX releases, I guess. And it's pretty good. I mean, when you look at Kuga is such a fascinating entry of rider to look at ever because it didn't have gimmicks. It didn't have long, drawn-out henshin sequences. It was fairly simple in the way it did things, and I kind of like it for that and kind of respect it for that, honestly. It was kind of refreshing to go back and to watch that. I'm actually rewatching it right now. And see a season not kind of bogged down by the henshins and I am just all over the place in my stuff today. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it's a pretty good release. I think I can activate the sounds now that it's on the wall of henshin. Let's see. Yep. And then, in theory, and actually, if you keep doing it past that, it'll cycle through the exact noise that it makes for Titan, Pegasus, and what's the other one? Titan, Pegasus, and whatever the other form is, because I'm stupid, Dragon form. So yeah, it's a really good release. I really like it. So yeah, so that is that. And then we'll get on a few little figures here, and then eventually Desire Driver is going to be one of them, clearly. So yeah, so first figure release I want to talk about is the Lightning Collection Dino Fury Red figure. There's mine right there, which I kind of color corrected the paint on a little bit. Definitely on the Morpher, as you can tell. And the sword a little bit too. But this is a really good release, pretty solid release. Mine had really good joints and everything, you know. He's very solid, he's not floppy. I had no paint problems. There was like missing paint in terms of them being lazy, which is always a Hasbro thing. Just kind of their brand now. But being a Real Soldier fan and being able to have essentially a Zato / Co figure is really cool. Because they don't have a lot of, I don't think there's been released a figure arts of the Real Soldiers at all. I mean, maybe eventually because they're bringing back Sentai figure arts. But as of right now, there's not. So it was a really good release to have that. It's a fun project for me, honestly, to be able to go back in. People are like, why would you spend so much time to extra paint those? Because it's fun. I like to fix their mistakes. Look at the details on that. Like, I feel like I did a pretty decent job on that. Especially the Morpher. Like, I'm really proud of the Morpher on this one, if I can angle it the right way to show. Yeah, I feel like I did a decent job with that one. I don't know. But yeah, it's a really decent release. I think the helmet sculpt is good. The head sculpt on Zato. I don't really do much of the civilian heads, the Lightning Collection. But the civilian head sculpt was good. Weapons looked good. Everything else looked pretty decent. I fixed up the lightning bolt in the chest a little bit with some white. I use Gundam markers for the most part to fix mine. But it's a good, solid release. I like it. The posability is good. The attention to detail on it is really good. So yeah, I really like that one. Another one that was kind of a surprise for me. And the only difference you're seeing in this is that I put like a clear gloss paint layer over it. But it's the Dino Night Mode basic line figure. Again, I put a gloss coating over it so it looks like that, so it's shiny like that. This is, if you don't watch my channel or watch Henshins and Homies, if you don't know, this is like the bee's knees absolute most perfect suit in Toku for me ever, and I love it, and to have it represented and like decently painted was awesome. There was very little I had to fix on this, a little bit, but not like enough to where it was irritating. But yeah, a really, really good release, really solid. I do wish that it also came with, I wish that any of the basic line figures came with the sword. I think it's really stupid they don't come with the Chrome Fury Sabers. But the Morpher itself, the Dynamite Morpher, is really good. Plus, I painted that to be more, accurate and everything. So that's really good, and it fits in his hand decent. Plus, now that I put the clear cost on it, it's probably stuck in his hand for the most part. But yeah, I really like this figure. It's a basic line figure. It doesn't have as much like amazing movability as like the Lightning Collection figures do and everything. But still a decent release as far as being a basic release. The last thing I'll talk about here is going to be some of my Geats stuff. Again, I want to preface this by saying that Geats was a season that when it first started, I wasn't so sure. I'm sorry, when the first things came out, leaked information about it. Geats leaks, if you will. I wasn't so sure if I was going to like it. I thought I was going to hate it. Not hate it, I just thought I wasn't sure how they were going to like fully go for like this battle royale mix and match style. It felt sort of build-esque, but then also had the battle royale thing, which already turned me off because I hated not Ryuki, but I don't like that type of video game. So and Ryuki never to me felt like a real battle royale. Really, it felt a lot different than that. And so I was surprised by this season. I really was. So I have this custom ID core. First thing I want to talk about for my Crocodile Rider. If you haven't seen my Henshin video for Kamen Rider Uchikudaio, there is his ID core. I'll get that real close there. It's looking a little rough only because, so I got this from a guy called Desert Fair who makes custom ID cores. Did at the time, taking a break for now. Asked if there's a Crocodile Rider. He said, yep, there is. Found it. Showed me the picture. When you want it? I said, yes. So it originally was like a neon-y blue, and the silver was pretty much there, but it wasn't black. It was blue underneath. I'm like, okay, cool. Then eventually I was like, well, I wonder if I could paint it. So I tried to do the clear gloss paint that I have over here on it. That completely screwed the whole thing over. It made the sticker, like the edges of the sticker for the ID core image on there, curl up on the edge. And yeah, I basically fixed it, but I mean, it's looking a little rough just because I had to save it. And then I was trying to do silver for the sticker to kind of fix some of that a little bit and just make it look cool. And if you don't know with paint markers or Gundam markers, if you press the tip down real gently, operative word, it's supposed to let some extra paint out. Well, I did it too hard and it spurted paint all over it. I tried to stupidly wash it, so then it mixed with the water. Yeah, so I salvaged it what I could, and I still think it looks pretty decent, but I added the red there around the side, the kind of glossy red there, and made the two little things here silver, and then red on kind of the middle of them. Again, I'm going to probably have to use some super glue to kind of get that sticker to still stick back down like it's supposed to. But for the most part, it's really cool to have my own ID core for my own rider. I would have a story, a backstory for him and everything. One of my other favorite things, I didn't think I was going to like this little thing, but the thing is pretty cool. I really like this thing. I love the like circuitry type thing in the middle of the blade there. The lights on that are really good too. They switch between the blue and the orange there really well. I like that this is a dual power-up and weapon for both Geats and Tycoon. I think they look really awesome with it, especially that recent episode 15, I think, where they fought each other for a bit. Super cool. Love it, love it, love it. Love the jingle.
Freeze charge. Tactical raising.
So yeah, this is a pretty cool release. As is my number one favorite thing of the year. A lot of people have said this, but I'm just going to jump on the train because I'm essentially co-conductor. The Desire Driver. It's such a simple release, such a simple driver. You think about most drivers, even like the build driver, that looks pretty complex, right? It's got the little spinning part here. This part moves the bottles around sometimes. You got the crank here, whatever. The Desire Driver, even the Reverse Driver's got like the stamp, and you stick it over here and you push it sideways. Like Desire Driver just slot things on the side and that's it. That's it. And then it can spin. That's pretty much it. And it's so simple looking, but it's so elegant and clean. And I think that works with the overall aesthetic of it being a show, a rider show, like in universe. Spoilers for Geeks. Why are you watching this if you're not going to get some spoilers? But they recently revealed it's a rider reality television show. So it makes sense that the drivers would all be pretty much mass produced and would look a certain way. But what I like with the Command Twin buckle, which is my favorite buckles right now until they start showing off some more clearly, is that it's a nice design that builds off of the Desire Driver naturally. It doesn't look like something slapped on that doesn't look like it's part of it. Some of the other buckles look decent, but when they're on, sometimes just look like they're covering up the entire Desire Driver, which I get. Desire Driver on its own is very blank slate, so it's supposed to have these buckles connect and whatever. But what I like about this is you can still see it's the Desire Driver while having these technological parts over here, and over there. Hard to figure that out. And I love the little handle parts to it and the jingle it makes. It's really, really well crafted and one of my favorite buckles right now. That's one I have usually displayed with my Uchiha dial. ID core there. So yeah, so that's my favorite Toku like toy releases of the year. There's probably a few more that I missed, maybe some Revice stuff or something like that. I did really like the Revice driver, but I liked the Desire driver more and decided for some reason not to include the Revice driver on this list. I don't know why, but it's honorable mention. I do like it, but I think the one I did miss talking about that I don't have here, and I'm not going to talk about much because I don't have it with me, is my Demons driver. The Demons driver, one of my very favorite drivers. I was so absolutely floored by what that thing can do with the LEDs and the character himself, Hiromi, the suit. I have the figure arts for him. Like, oh my god, the Demons driver. That's absolutely right up there too, right with the Desire driver. Probably more than the Revice driver. I love the Revice driver. I don't think it's a bad driver by any means. But I like the Demons driver more. And it makes me really super duper jelly of anybody that gets the Vision driver. Vision driver for Geats, because that is another LED monstrosity that's just like, holy shit. But yeah, we ate good this year for Toku toy releases. We had some really nice releases. This is also not including every single solitary figure arts that I recently received. I got the Zenkaiser figure arts, the Dan Momotaro figure arts, Revi, Demons. All are very solid releases. My favorite thing with the figure arts, and what's always like the thing that just I latch onto every time, I'm just a sucker for, is when the driver can move a little bit like it does in show, when it's miniature and it can move the little pieces and they attach. I lose my mind. I love it. I love it. Like the Gertlinger for Zenkaiser actually spins. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So those are top-notch figure arts releases for me. I might even do like a separate figure arts video just about them. But they're also top up there as well. So it's a bit of a mess of a video, I guess. But I just want to kind of get those things out there about some of my favorite releases and talk about some of the ones I liked over the year. But let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of the releases this year? Did you have a lot of releases that you bought mainly from Rider or Sentai or both? Do you have some Ultraman releases you went for, more Power Ranger stuff? I know a lot of the team helmets and things came out, and weapons and things like that look pretty cool, except for the Power Sword. Yeah, and maybe also, what are you guys excited for this year? Are you excited for the King Ozier stuff, more Geat stuff, other CSM type announcements, DX things? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to get the conversation going. Again, we're right under 400 subscribers, just right around there. I'm really, really pumped about that. So thank you guys so much for the love and support, the comments, the shares, the watches, all of it, subscribing. Thank you so much for that. But until next time, stay hooked on heroes. I'll talk to you later. Entry. Bye-bye.